Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sea.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest today. We have Paula Sullivan on board with us, and she is the author of Simply Being Happy. First of all, I love the cover. Of course, I'm always into covers on books. Did you design this yourself, Paula?
I did.
You did?
I did.
So you must have gone through one of those smaller private publishing.
Well, I had a designer. The interior designer was also the jacket designer, but I just wanted to design it myself.
Oh, yeah.
So she, so I came up with the design with a friend of mine, but then I had to pass it to this designer who had to put it into the right, do all what she had to do to make it an actual book.
She did a great job. I know that a lot of the authors that go to a regular pub, if they're accepted, they cut it off. They say, that's it, you don't get to do anything, you can't design your cover.
Yeah.
That's always, I refer, like what you just did with or be self-publishing, which is great.
Yeah.
This is lovely. The colors itself, Simply Being Happy, it's a good-sized book.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to write it?
It took me 7 months. But I've been studying this for a long, long time.
It's
So
something
it's
in
the
your life
culmination
triggering?
of- Yeah, it's something that I've just always studied for my own personal reasons. Why do I have fears? Why am I worried?
Mm.
Why don't I feel safe when I should be? When I should be safe. All this programming that we all, this kind of baggage, and so it kind of in my own personal, evolution, just
It just
discovering things for myself. But when I started I started reading hundreds of books a year. It was so fascinating to
On
me.
self-help book, that type of thing?
Well, I started getting into not so much the self-help book. When I was younger, I would pick up self-help books, and I loved them,
Yeah.
but it was when I really started getting into the power of your subconscious mind.
The subconscious, yeah.
Yeah, and it is just fascinating.
I like the way you set it up. It's please stand by, all the
Mhm.
different chapters. What are you waiting for?
Mhm.
What's in your bag? In the hood, just breathe, Om. And it's all these, and also it has start noticing, these exercises. She has very thoughtfully, look around you right now and write down 20 examples of abundance that you see. I've never seen a book that approach it that way.
Yeah. And they're not just cute, and they're not just feel good. This is tapping into your subconscious mind,
Yeah.
where the core is, where it all is.
Mhm.
So I think, for me, I'm just proud because I feel like it's a real substantial book.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of the activities are very light, simple,
Mhm.
easy,
Mhm.
but I think there's substance to it.
Right. I like the chapter Bye Bye. And I'm going to quote what she has from Stuart Wilde. Never be afraid to let people go if they're not right for you. Often that's the only way you can make room for the right people.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know, and that's so hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been there, and it
Yeah.
is, especially if you care a lot
Yeah.
for the person. It's very
Yeah.
hard. It's, what is it, let go or be dragged. There's some other
Mm.
themes that they do, but
Yeah.
letting go is not the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah.
Now, I'm trying to think. Did you originally think about having it as the question and then we write out the answer? Did you originally want to do that?
Yeah, just because for me, I wanted it to be like a workbook. I wanted you to be able to really dive in
Yeah.
and use it,
There's a lot,
Yeah,
isn't there?
there is.
There's a lot.
Yeah, because sometimes you think of something and you're reading something, it'll say, oh, do this exercise. And then you think, oh, I'll go do that later when I have some paper in front of me. So it was kind of just for practical reasons too.
It took you only 7 months.
Well, I had a book coach.
Book
I'm
coach?
big on kind of these
Yeah.
people that can guide me.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, his name was Patrick Snow,
Mhm.
and he wasn't a writing coach, but he was more. Every week I would check in with him, and he was kind of like this
Mhm.
rah-rah. He was an ex-football player, and he coaches. He's a speaker,
Yeah.
and that's what I want to do. He's a speaking and a writing coach, not a writing coach, a
Yeah.
publishing coach.
Mhm.
And so it was nice to check in with him every week, and it just gave me that,
The oomph,
yes,
the rah-rah.
yeah, and because I think it would have taken me years
Yeah.
You know,
It's
I think.
important. So a lot of people need that because, like I tell the authors that I work with, I say, be sure to be able to give your presentation, not just go and sit there and sign if someone buys it,
Yeah.
but to do both. You know, get up there and talk about it, even if it's a brief 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Then do a question and answer,
Mhm.
and then you could have your little table set up, not
Mhm.
scary, and they come to you and they'll talk about it. You say, would you
Yeah.
like me to sign it?
Yeah.
And before you know it, the hour and a half is done.
Yeah.
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 It's a fun thing. You
Yeah.
meet a
Looking
lot of
forward
people
to
that
it.
way.
Yeah.
You really do. I like, what's in your bag? What's that chapter like? Tell us
What's
about
in your bag? Well, it's the idea that it's like carrying a bag of excuses that we all have, and it's so easy to just pull out these these excuses
Yeah.
for any reason. So it's it gives you a little exercise. It's that
On
idea.
that. In the Hood? What's that?
Well, have you ever heard of Brian Tracy when he talks about people are on excuse? People have excuse-itis when people just come up with excuses all the time for why they're not
Mm.
progressing, and he said people live on excuse island. Vote, and he talks about get yourself off the island.
Yeah.
Vote yourself off the island. Well, years ago I came up with the concept that a lot of people feel like they're victims of the government, of their bosses, of everything, and it's this nice role they can play, and it kind of gets them out of things. And so I said, it's like they're in the hood, victimhood. Get yourself out of the hood, And so it's just kind of a cute visualization to.
I like the way you thought of this. That just came to you, right?
Yeah, but it's something I've been obsessed with for years. I've been really delving into this. So yeah,
Did you major in writing in college and in literacy?
No, I didn't. But I was a newspaper reporter. for
What
years.
newspaper were you writing?
Milford Daily News.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, Stanley
Well-
Jones. Do you remember Stanley? Loved him.
Heard of him. I don't think I
Mhm.
remember him exactly. But you
Yeah.
had were you like a visiting journalist or a constant journalist?
I was part-time, although Stanley asked me to come on as an editor full-time.
Yeah.
But I was actually pregnant at the time, and
Yeah.
so I had other things on my mind. And
Mhm.
but my beat was Millville, Blackstone and Millville.
Yeah.
And I went to all the meetings, and it was so interesting.
Yeah.
There was just never enough. I always had such a list of all the articles I wanted to do, because you could go to one meeting,
Mhm.
and one selectmen's meeting there could be 10, 20 articles from it, and I loved the human interest stories, so.
And the town meetings are that's a real, town.
Yeah.
Going to,
Oh, yeah.
Especially like small town meetings.
Mhm.
It is, it can be enjoyable. Some people say, oh my God, it's so long. But in a way, it's enjoyable because you see the different people you see on the street during the day
Yeah.
getting up and saying their piece.
Yeah.
And you get to
Yes.
know that person a little bit better.
Yes.
But you're based in Blackstone,
Mhm.
right? So this was right on your turf.
Yeah.
Now you said you haven't been getting out a lot yet. It's still new, your
Mhm.
book. Where would you like to be seen? I mean, so people can know if they'd like you to come on board.
Well, where would I like to be seen? I guess I want to go big. I want to get big eventually.
Well, you
I
want to
really
start
do.
with your library right there.
I do, but you know what? I have to say something, and I know this is going to sound funny, but I don't want to promote myself right now in Blackstone,
No.
because I have 3 teenagers. Well, 2 are in their 20s, and I'm not peddling shoes. I'm not
Mhm.
peddling candy. I'm peddling happiness.
Mhm.
And even though the book it doesn't expose my family.
Mm.
It's not this tell-all. It's
Mhm.
but do you understand? I want
Mhm.
right now to not embarrass my kids. I kind of don't want to be local and just
There's so many places all around New England.
Oh, yeah.
So many.
There is
even
much. There's so many
everything-
opportunities.
Senior centers, they love
Yeah.
this. I had an author that I was working with who had a book about, she'd been teased terribly as a kid.
Yeah.
She was overweight.
Yeah.
And she rose above it in her story.
Yeah.
I sent her out to the senior centers, and they loved it. They bought a lot of her books.
Yeah.
They love this type of thing, but
Yeah.
not just there. I mean, many libraries have, like Milford Library.
Yeah.
They have sometimes one author comes in.
Yeah.
We've been there over there, or
Yeah.
sometimes 3.
Yeah.
Actually, tonight over in
Mhm.
Hopedale,
Yeah.
they're going to have authors' night at the Bancroft Library.
Mhm.
Our resident whodunit author, Glenn Ickler, who's also a journalist on the Milford, I guess it's the Metro West Daily News on
Yep.
Sunday.
Yep.
He's going to be on. He's a whodunit author,
Yeah.
and he is fantastic.
Mhm.
And he's going to be one of the authors who speaks. There'll be three
Oh,
of them.
where's that? I'd like to go to
It's
that.
right on 140.
It's Hopedale, you said?
Yeah,
Okay.
Bancroft Library.
Yeah.
6:30.
Okay,
There'll
when
be
is
three
that?
authors
When is it?
tonight.
Tonight.
Tonight,
Oh, I'm
yeah,
gonna
we'll
try
be
to
there,
find that.
and I was kind of late for our viewers, but it's we had talked about it before. But whenever they have an author's night,
Yeah.
it might be three, whatever. They
Mhm.
each get up briefly, discuss their book,
Yeah.
and there may be a quick question and answer,
Mhm.
and then you can set up afterwards.
Yeah.
But it's a way to get your foot in, because
Yeah.
the more people you meet,
Mm-hmm.
the next person could say, "I'd like you to speak at," because I know.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
every July, people have heard me talk about this, every July in Danversport, Mass, there is a huge, love it,
Yeah.
over at the, I guess it's a club, it's a yacht club in
Yeah.
Danversport, humongous ballroom filled with authors of different venues.
I have to look
And you
into
set
that.
up,
Yep.
and it's like from 4 to 7 or 8 at night.
Mm-hmm.
I always encourage an author, take somebody with you, because, not just if you want to go to the bathroom,
Yeah.
but you want to get up, walk around with your book.
Mm-hmm.
You also want to meet the other authors,
Yeah.
because they can refer you maybe somewhere they're going.
Yes. Yeah.
It's all about schmoozing.
Yes.
It's not just sitting there and
Right. I've been to a few things already, and I've got some
Mhm.
plans, some fun things
Good.
planned. So
Good.
yeah.
So now, how can they get a hold of your book, Paula?
My book is on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon, Simply Being Happy. I'm also, let's see, my ebook is available too. I'm on Smashwords. I'm on Ingram's, which means my book is available to the retailers and the libraries. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Did you bring an extra copy?
I did.
For the author's wall downstairs at the Upton Library.
Yeah.
Feel free to come out and ask for it if it hasn't been put up yet. Great way to get introduced to a new author. Wonderful way for you to meet Paula. Now, Paula, this is what is, namaste. I know. Now, that's the Indian greeting for I revere your godly presence,
Mm-hmm.
right? I have a surgeon who's Indian, and he was teaching me that the other day.
Yeah.
Cruising. What is that one?
Cruising is the idea that it talks about, the chapter is about how people have such a negative stigma when it comes to therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, and they would never admit that they're going to an appointment. And I just think that's so wrong, because if something's wrong with your car and you don't know about it, you just don't take care of it yourself.
Yep.
And what cruising is it reminded me of my daughter Tara and her friend Amanda. She had an old clunker, and when she'd be driving down the road and the thing would break down, she had a pipe in the back seat, and my husband taught her just the right way to bang a part of the engine and to get it going again. And that's what we kind of do.
Yeah.
A lot of times we bang around when we when we have problems,
Mhm.
and maybe we could use experts to help us.
Right.
You know.
Exactly. Starting at the very beginning.
Starting at the very beginning. I
Yeah.
think that I'm big on visualization, because our mind, we think in pictures.
Yeah.
And so if we're not happy, the pictures in our mind are negative.
Yeah.
And so it's the idea of creating new pictures.
Mhm.
And so starting at the very beginning is the foundation of visualization. And I've also created a lot of my own visualization techniques, which I've developed through the years.
Yeah.
So.
So when did you start feeling this urge that you really wanted to write something like this?
Well, I had a business for 10 years, and all the while I was studying this, but the business really took a lot out of me. It kept me very busy. I sold it about 3-4 years ago, and maybe 3 years ago. And when I sold it is when I was able to free myself up to have time to practice these things, because knowledge only takes you so far. And I really believe in these simple daily practices. And so when I started doing the practices, I was amazed at the changes.
You saw the changes yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I went. So I had some time, and I don't know if you've ever heard of Genevieve Behrend.
Mm-mm.
She was back in the early 1900s. She was this quiet woman, but she taught visualization in New York City. She studied with Thomas Troward, who is such a well-known person in Europe at the time. And she had an incredible life. And so I thought, wow, no one's written a book about her life. She's written books, but So I went to see a friend who's an author, and I said, what do you think about me writing a book on her? And I was telling her all the things that I had learned, and she says, you know what? Maybe you should write a book on what you've learned.
Yeah, definitely.
And so her and I kind of thought of that, and that's kind of what made me think to write
That's
this
how you.
book.
We're talking again with Paula Sullivan, and she is the author of Simply Being Happy. 93 ways. That's a lot. Just replace worry with peace and create a joyful life. You're talking about visualizing. Boy, I caught on to that a while back, because if I'm really, if something's really bothering me, I picture the beach. Everybody has their thing.
Yeah.
And I'll picture my beach and laying there, that type of thing, or something else, a friend, or where I was recently, we had a good time, something like that. People have a different,
Yeah.
and you probably have a bunch of them too that you
yeah,
can think about.
Anything.
Have you taught this to your children? Because I have.
No, I haven't.
You haven't. You have
I
20-year-olds, right?
I have a 22, 20, and 17.
25. I got a 20.
Yeah,
Yeah,
25.
interesting bunch, right?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
Let me see. Now, how again can they get a hold of this book?
Simply Being Happy. You can go to my website, simplybeinghappy.com, where I started a blog, and I'm going to keep, adding blog posts and to get my ideas out on a regular basis. But my book is also available on Amazon, the ebook and the paperback.
I like this part about awareness. I've always loved that.
Yeah.
This is when we focus on the world around us and our place in it. I think too many people, and I see it, they're so focused outer.
Yeah.
In a not a good way. I mean, you mean taking in everything around you, right? In a good way, in a relaxing way, just
Yeah.
kind of noticing.
Yeah.
But when somebody is too outer and other focused, they can't,
Yeah.
right? Is that it?
Yeah. For me, the awareness is more of what you are,
Mm.
who you are, what you're made of.
Yeah.
Why do I do this?
Some people are so afraid to look within, though.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are afraid to go back into their past. And I feel like it's like this taboo, but it's almost like watching a movie and you don't really watch the ending, or you get up and get popcorn, 5 times through it, and you don't really process it all.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with going back
No.
and just kind of remembering and seeing what things were like back then from a new perspective. You're an adult
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
And so there's a lot of techniques in the book about
Clearing.
that.
Tell us about clearing.
Well, clearing is the fact that we have a lot of old programming inside of us, habits, thoughts, beliefs that aren't working for us. And it's the idea of clearing them out. And so there's a lot of techniques in there.
That's sort of like if you've been hoarding
Yes.
a lot in your mind.
Yes.
That's a process of cleaning out. Boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And letting go. I
Yeah.
think that's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
I think some of people who have, I have a really good memory on things that have happened in my life. I mean, I
Mhm.
can tell you what my first grade room looked like. I know it at 3 or
Wow.
4 years old, my bedroom where I was.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And the emotions as I grew up, and the
Yeah.
different, every single teacher's name, where I sat in the
that's
classroom.
Awesome.
Talk
Do
about-
you really?
Yeah.
I wish I had that memory.
Well, maybe you don't.
My
Because I
brother
know.
told me the coolest thing last night, and
Oh.
I was just like, and he remembers so much, and
Yeah.
I wish I could have remembered
But you know,
it.
it could be a curse too.
Yeah.
Because I can remember too much.
Yes.
And some things that I don't really want to know.
Yeah.
But it's there, and it's how
Yeah.
you. I can't say that I erase it. You just have to say, it's over here. It's done and
But
gone.
you can imagine, you can use your imagination to imagine that you've erased it out of yourself.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure. I think people. This was another wonderful audience to appeal to. People going with surgery ahead of them. I always
Yeah.
tell people we are just big kids, and a lot of the fears that we've had since
Yeah.
childhood and this,
Yeah.
going into surgery, I know, been there, done that, and
yeah.
this is very inspiring for that type of experience. What a wonderful gift to give to yourself or to a family member or friend who's,
Yeah.
right now they're not too happy
Yes.
about it.
Yeah.
And they've got this book; they can actually take it with them right in there, and
Mhm.
after you've had it, you can read your book too.
Mm.
What's installing?
Installing is, there's techniques that use your imagination to, like we just said, clear things out. Well, then installing, good characteristics or good qualities. Say you're fearful, well, you want to install courage,
Mhm.
and so there's techniques, and they're not as intimidating as they sound. There's
Yeah.
just some really simple techniques,
Yeah.
and the key is repetition.
Yeah.
To keep doing.
And it
things,
works for you.
know.
It works for you. Did
Yeah.
anybody in your family inspire you this way? Like a grandmother or an aunt or your mom or dad?
Inspire me for these kind of things.
Yeah.
Well, my mother was so inspirational because she was just such a kind person.
Yeah, mine too.
You know,
Yeah.
so loving. And my father was too, in his own way.
Mm.
You know, actually, my father was such a wonderful father. So yeah, I guess my parents. And
They were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now your own children are seeing you. I mean, I think my son, he's 25. I think he would be past the point of any embarrassment. I think that he got over that a long time ago.
Mhm.
I think they graduate from that to being proud.
Yeah, but yeah, my kids aren't there yet.
It won't be long for that
But-
20-year-old, right? 20?
22, 20.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be long because after they
Yeah.
begin to dawn, it dawns on them like, wow, my mom is pretty cool.
Yeah,
And I'm proud. And then they start talking about you in a whole different
Yeah.
way. Like,
yeah,
well, my mom has a great book out and she's going to be speaking at, oh,
yeah.
well, oh yeah, it's coming, believe me.
Well, thank you.
Upgrades. Hey kid, I'm Al Shervick.
Yeah,
What is
do you
that
remember?
one?
Well, that's just a quote from,
Oh,
you
Al-
remember Caddyshack?
Oh yeah. Rodney Dangerfield.
But that's just ideas for if you want to upgrade your life.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to look at other people and say that I wish that was me. You could, you can do things to, you know, to upgrade.
I love gratitude. Thank you. Chapter 31, Gratitude, the Great Multiplier. Someone is, I don't know where I heard it, that if you have an attitude of gratitude, it's hard to be angry at something.
Mm.
Is that true? Do you
Yeah.
think?
Oh, yeah. Well, you can't have two emotions going on at the same time. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. But you've got, she is so, let me see. Well, bye-bye. I'll never let people, we've read about that one. Gotta have it. Do you have your finances down in black and white? And if not, write 5 steps below that you'll take to get clear about your finances. Okay, hard. I'm not particularly the most disciplined person in the world with
Yeah.
that. You know, some people kind of right off the seat of their pants and, okay, this is paid, I'm good this month, and go.
Yeah.
But now this is a little more detailed, right?
Yeah, and the thing is in that book, I don't try to, and I say it right there, I'm not a financial guru, I'm not
Yeah.
an expert, but what I have observed, is that this fogginess that people have
Yeah.
around their finances. And so there's just a few techniques to try to, bring awareness, which-
Excellent. When I saw that, I said, boy, she's on to something really big here. Me, rich, money doesn't make you happy. I now have 50 million, but I was just as happy when I had only 48 million. I would be happy with 1,000 right now. Arnold Schwarzenegger
Yep, cute, huh?
and David Thoreau, wealth is the ability to fully experience life.
And that's,
Okay,
yeah.
I got that one.
Yeah.
That one I
Yeah.
really like.
Yeah.
And if that quote, oh yeah, the one before it. Here's a fun, simple exercise. Ask yourself, do I want to be rich, yes or no? It depends.
See, that's and see that little quiet,
Yeah.
that's where you could stop and gain some awareness.
Yeah.
Well, what just filled up that little space? What went through your mind? Is it that maybe you were taught that money is filthy rich? Is it you think that there's not enough to go around, and if you take too much, you're going to leave people out? So it's those little spaces that you
Yeah.
can build some awareness.
I think, and that little fast little thought that I had was, and I said, it depends. Because, first of all, what in God's name am I going to do with 50 million? I mean,
Yeah.
okay, people say, what are you, nuts, Jan? Of course you're going to.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think,
You need it, right?
well, I don't like ostentatiousness.
Yeah.
Yeah. My parents were like that. You know, you grew up in a very nice neighborhood, but I see too much of this now, this four-flushing they call it, showboating with the
Yes.
McMansions and everything.
Yeah.
That just turns
and
me
that's
right
not
on.
you. You would
No.
be happy in a
No, if somebody
cabin in
gifted
the
me
woods,
with a
and that would be
McMansion,
your
I would sell it
paradise.
immediately.
Yes.
Because I want something
Yeah.
with character.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And that
Yeah.
doesn't, and ostentatious doesn't mean, happier or more wealthy. It's whatever's wealthy to you.
Exactly.
A cottage
Yeah.
at the beach would be,
Oh,
to me, would be just.
and I
I'd
think
love
there's a
that.
family I know especially that's really having an awful time financially.
Mhm.
One of my first thoughts is, what will I do with it? Not just what I'm going to. It's automatically, if I have a credit card, I'm going to pay it off.
Yeah.
But that's 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
But there's a family I would definitely say, I'm going to get you a new place.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay a year's rent for you.
Yeah.
After that, but this is going to give you the boot
Yeah.
to get on your feet,
Mm-hmm.
save that money away,
Yeah.
and enjoy the year.
Yeah.
All you have to worry about is maybe your utilities.
Nice.
But
What a
I'm
nice
gonna,
thought, huh?
Yeah, I'll do the 3
Yeah.
things. What do you put? Security first and last, whatever.
Mhm.
I'll take care of all that for you
Yeah.
for a year.
Yeah.
And just to see the expression on their face,
Oh, no.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and to know that I've done something really cool
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
it makes I just talking about it makes me like
Right. Yeah.
because I know them so well,
Yeah.
and I want to help,
Yeah.
you know. But
Yeah. Hey, you
we
might
have
be able
about-
to someday.
well,
You know?
yeah, I hope so. But you never know. But
Right.
there's that show on television. If somebody hits the jackpot with what's that gambling thing? The tickets, the scratch tickets.
Yep.
And then he starts showing them all these huge palaces they can now afford.
Yeah.
Sometimes some of them are pretty down to earth, and they're like, "Well, it's a little big," and and I'm like, "I got you.
Yeah.
I got you."
Oh, I'm sure a lot of people, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't need the big.
No, I don't want 5
fancy.
bathrooms.
Yeah.
2's good.
Yeah.
1.5 if I have to.
Yeah, yeah.
We're coming to the end, Paula. Again, how can they get your great book, Simply Being Happy?
They can go to Amazon, Simply Being Happy by Paula Sullivan. It's in ebook and paperback, and it will be, I'm working on getting it available in some of the bookstores.
I love this. Now, question. I always ask my authors, is there another one on the horizon?
Well, I jot down an idea and I
Yeah.
stick it in. I have a new book file. So,
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, so will it be along this line?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, like number 2. But I'm just getting started with that, and I have so many opportunities, that I can.
Do you write a lot at night when the kids are out, whatever, or
No,
studying?
I don't write. I wrote that book, but I do journal and I do jotting down. But as far as writing a book,
You do it on your computer, obviously, right? You're doing the.
well, I finished, like I said, I started and finished that book in 7 months.
Yeah.
So I'm not a writer that just chooses to write, but I'm always writing things down for my own personal.
Right, and then you
You
just
know,
put it
I'm
all
always-
together. You just assemble it, and that's great.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget, you can pick up the book downstairs also. And one more time, how can they get a hold of it?
On Amazon, Simply Being Happy by Paula Sullivan, and ebook and paperback.
Thank you, Paula, for being with us. And
Thank you so much.
let me know when the next one comes out.
Okay.
This is going to be really cool. Watch for her. I think she's going to do really, really well. We'll see you next time. I'll be my guest.